Roll call and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Guys, Shift now available in theaters everywhere. Welcome back to the Corridor Digital Podcast. It's episode 132 with Nick Laurent, Sam Gorski, Niko Peringer, and of course, your very own Jake Watson. Thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. How are you guys?
Good. I'm excited. And I need to mute something in the room because I can hear myself talk. No, I can't. My brain.
We don't cut anything here on the Corridor Cast unless the jank is really bad, in which case we usually just cut and start over. We'll see if Sam can make it through this.
Right. No, today's a great day.
Okay,
Today's a great day. And the reason it's a great day is because two things got done. Two things we were working on for the last few weeks.
Did we start?
Oh, yeah, we're starting.
Yeah.
And Iron VFX, our VFX Iron Artist.
Yep, that's done.
Yeah.
Finally.
We watched that. That was, I was just filled with joy.
Oh,
It was very good.
So glad.
Like, I'm cracking up. Like, at the top, with the hype, it's fun, but like it like truly gets amazing when like the competition begins. That's where it like goes into a whole nother level.
Well, thank you. If you haven't seen that video, it should have come out. When's this come out? Like a week from now? So should have come out.
It'll be out.
A week
Yeah, check
ago.
it out if you haven't seen it.
What are you doing? Go watch it.
Yeah.
Sam has some very good one-liners.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
Both
well
of you guys
edited.
do. Everyone does.
I spit out a ton of them. I let you guys just edit out the bad ones.
It said diamonds on it said pyramids on the menu, right?
Well, yeah.
Dude, the cooking show analogy works so well
It's so good.
for competition stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to shoot that video because we were like, what's a quick one-day idea for a quick video? It was a great quick shoot. And then the edit just took a long time.
Because it's all edit.
It's
like,
all
it's like the art is the edit in that style.
500% editing.
Yeah,
So,
you got absolutely like blindsided by this edit here.
Well, it's the anime vibe, I keep calling it, it's an anime vibe because the edit is like super dramatic.
Yeah.
It's all the cuts, it's all the footage, it's all that stuff. I can see why it took so long to
I could have kept going.
Rap, but
I literally could have kept adding stingers and zings and flame transitions. I could have gone for 2 more days and it still would have been probably the same, honestly.
I know. We just need like some hotkeys for like insert flame trend. Like we need to build them into Premiere's like actual
they have it. Like
system at this
there's
point.
There's no way the editor of a reality TV show, like 14 of these episodes or whatever crazy amount they do, they're like, okay, let me locate this one zinger, and they go to their folder. Like they have to have
just have a giant soundboard, the USB soundboard, and there's like 100 buttons on it, and they press it, and it drops in as like a sound effect or anything,
a cymbal roll,
or like a gong. They have a gong,
Yeah. That's what you guys need. You guys each need like a 100 key loop deck with just pre-programmed sound and effects transitions.
We could probably benefit from that, honestly, because I find myself using the same like 20 sounds mostly. So
you just need a button that does the work.
Yes. Oh, well, speaking of that.
Speaking of that.
Yeah, so that's done. The influencer's done. I literally was talking with Rodrigo right before this because he's helping get him uploaded.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I should kind of like sift through these and take out some of the bland ones. And then I'm like, this is the problem, which is like I'm trying to like over curate it now. Where it's
okay.
It's
so let me pull up this episode.
You're getting farther and farther away from the button.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. So the point is that right now they're going up right now, and I'm just saying screw this. Like,
so 1 month ago,
right
Sam.
Now.
1 month ago, we had the conversation on the podcast about how we should actually
it's time to
make this a reality. Yeah.
Okay.
And in 1 month, it's gone from podcast idea to fruition.
Yes.
A month well spent.
I'd say. What's the name of the account? Can I go on Instagram right now?
It's not live.
Okay.
It's live at the time of this podcast release, but like we can't watch it this second.
But listeners who are eager to see an AI-driven TikTok influencer,
We can tell the Troutons.
We'll just pretend I'm typing this in.
Sierra_Vega.
But
link in description.
Zierra,
But
X.
Sierra, but with an X. _
Sierra
Vega
with an X
and then
_ Vega.
VEGA.
Oh.
Okay.
Sierra
Vega. Very
so
nice.
the
I'll
profile's,
save it.
yeah, but I'm really, I don't know, like high hopes, people watch it, low hopes. It's a great video.
Well,
Yeah.
I heard something like, you're not making this, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not making this for people. You're making this for
Maybe,
them, right?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Because we were talking about like, maybe how do we get more subscribers or people to view this account? We're like, why don't we just like hire a bot farm to do it? And it's
Which
like,
makes
yes,
sense.
it's technically breaking the terms of service. But the thing is that what if it was like specifically for bots?
Yeah, like content made by bots for bots.
Like this AI is generating content for these bots.
Well, there's a huge vacuum.
It's like, what's wrong with
right
that?
now in the space? If I want to use influencer terms,
Yeah,
there's no content for AI.
Yeah, bots
Right,
are
that's
only
true.
propping up all this human content.
Exactly.
You know?
Like what
What
is
makes us so
out
good?
there that's just for bots, you know?
Onlybots.com.
Really
Only
just
bots.
metadata. Just the meta tag at the top
Right.
of HTML.
And
That's about
what
it.
a lonely
Yeah.
existence, you know? Just
Yeah.
scraping through metadata, collecting it in a giant bin somewhere on a Google server. I mean, there's really more. There's more to life for bots.
It's so limiting too, because like bots don't have to constrain themselves to things that make sense to humans when they make
Exactly.
their content.
I mean,
100%.
like the more realistic version of that is just tailoring it to an algorithm, you know? But yeah, that's
Isn't
not.
that something a human would do? though?
That's what humans would do.
Yeah.
Humans try and please algorithms.
Yeah, you're thinking way too human about this, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sierra is gonna reveal to us what she wants. You know?
Oh, it's
Mm.
happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So what does she want? Like, what have we been finding?
From what I've overheard, she's kind of a negative Nancy.
A little bit. Very contemplative. Very lost.
A lot of struggle.
yeah.
A lot of strife and struggle and like unsure what to do with her life.
She might
She
just be
nap a
trying to
lot?
be hashtag relatable.
Yeah.
Mondays, huh? You know, like, don't you just hate it when?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in there.
I do have a question though. I've seen the renders, and it looks like Sierra is like egregiously rich. I'll say. I
Well,
don't know
I mean,
where she got that house.
That's a
but-
$20 asset pack, sir.
You're thinking in
'cause
human terms, Jake.
Did she get all that money through her influencing, or
I think it's in the family, I guess.
okay?
You know,
That's
She was
why
born
she's
that
that's
way.
why she's struggling with like what to do with her life and
yeah.
stuff, because
Her
she's
family
like
relatives run this like big YouTube channel called Corridor and
Corridor Digital.
yeah, so it's old money.
Oh man, yeah. I hope that she finds her way, and I don't know what kind of prompts like you're even giving it at this point, if any.
It's minor. It's one prompt and then you just let it go, and then
What is the prompt?
it's basically, hey, it's Sierra is like a non-binary eccentric influencer, social media influencer who posts long winding stories of her everyday adventures. And then I basically say, here's a suggested like list of locations available, which is just the locations in the map. Here's like an array of moods, and here time of day, so on and so forth, camera angles. And then basically I hit go. I give it like one example prompt to show how to format it for our scripts, and then it just goes. And that's basically it.
So it really is like Sierra's doing most of the thinking here.
Yeah, exactly. There's like zero backstory. It's just like, here's just raw AI. It's like an AI is like, all right, who's like a eccentric vapid influencer? Like, what does that sound like? All right, here we go. And then it just starts generating stuff.
Mhm.
But the fun thing is, like, when we watch it, we can then take a post that we find interesting, like it's like if there's something that us as viewers want to know more about, it's easy then to take that and recycle that back into the prompt. And then suddenly you start to see more posts about that topic.
Mm.
Okay.
So yeah, So that's the basic. That's the way to make it continuous. And there are some storylines that have been generated through that process. So
you got to get like the bot farms to comment a bunch of stuff and then work into your net of, parts that are feeding into your AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's scanning through the bot's comments, averaging out what the most hot topics are, and then feedbacking those into the next content. So
That's
you truly
easy.
get
That's a good idea. That is, and like
bots.
also have it scan for like, top hashtags and stuff like that. That way
I get
she's,
so
she's
surreal,
hashtag
dude.
relevant.
I'd have to like manually do that. But yeah, the one oversight was we forgot to have a description text for the post. Or like hashtags or like all that other junk you need for posts or whatever. So right now it's literally just talking. It's closer to like a vlog right now than an actual social media.
That is the most Sam thing you've ever said. Like, because we had this issue with YouTube descriptions for the longest time too, where we're like, Sam, you got to put stuff in the description, and you're like, no, why would I? People are there to watch the video. Why does it matter what's in the description?
What a rogue.
Yeah, probably this. Yeah, I mean, this was like years ago, but yeah, I know.
Like, 10 years ago.
We can improve that. We can improve that. Easy.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what sort of patterns start forming and like, what this influencer is really all about, besides just whining about taking naps.
It's all in your head. That's all the interesting stuff is the perceived narrative. It's like, it's the same thing as I how do I say it? It's like looking at clouds, it's a random shape and you're like, it's a seahorse, it's like, that's the same effect that's happening here. You look at it and you're like, wow, this is happening. This is a story. And it's like, nope.
Man.
But it feels like a story.
It's that weird thing. Well, man, I see.
I think
Do you guys, when you guys Google stuff, do you kind of ever do you just type a question, generally speaking, or like almost phrase things as a question sometimes?
I'm generally I'm the laziest Googler, by the way, ever. I'll type the first 2 letters and I'll try that. And then I'll see if it works. Dean even commented. He's like, dude, you're the laziest. Because he's like, look up. He's like, look up satisfying renders challenge because we were trying to reference something for an edit. And I type in SAT into our crew search and it didn't work. So anyway, sorry. Your question, a little bit sidetracked.
Well,
there.
for example, so last night my cat got in a fight with another cat. Corey snuck out. We had the back door open a little bit. We didn't know it. And she snuck out at night and I hear a bunch of yowling and I go out to see what all the ruckus is. And it turns out it's my cat getting in a fight with another cat. So I break it up. And
what was that? Where you're like, hey,
more or less.
Hey.
It comes up like, hey, break it up.
Yeah.
And then the cats run away, But Corey got her back leg chomped and bit up a little bit.
She's not a big cat.
She's not a big cat. She thinks she's a big cat. She got a big heart. So anyways, she's bit up and she's, tail between her legs, kind of like really like, I guess muted would be a term to use to describe her energy when she came back inside after the fight. So of course, hop over to Google. I'm like, my cat got bit by another cat. What should I do? And I literally type in, cat bit by other cat treatment options or, whatever, it's like, you kind of just type almost a phrase. And then Google pops up with their like, here's like the questions that people ask and you click it and it kind of takes you to like a relevant section of an article. So like, my cat was bit by another cat. What should I do? So I click on that question. Somebody, okay, here's an article that explains it. I start browsing this article. Like, man, it just kind of repeats itself like in different ways, but like never quite actually gives information. And like, I'm like, is this a freaking AI article? And like, I scroll around and sure enough, they're like, here's the top 10 ways your pet might respond to being attacked. They might not eat. They might be lethargic. You should definitely go see a vet. So how should I respond if my cat is bitten by another cat? Well, your first option is to make sure that your cat's not too injured and definitely go see a vet. And like everything is like a combination of that just says go see a vet. It's like, geez, thanks for wasting my freaking time. But this is like happening so often now. Like anytime I type in any kind of like semi-question thing and then Google tries to do like the, hey, we found that question being asked thing. People have like fully farmed out like AI stuff to write these articles with fake questions to like trigger these Google things. And it's like, it is making the web unusable. Like it's not necessarily these AI articles, it's Google. It's the way Google's structured like their search results and how they like do hits. That's just made the internet in general, like everything's temporary. It all matters like what's most up to date. And it's all lists and like top tens and like bold pointed breakdowns of different things with no actual information from human beings. So the only thing I find useful are actual discussion answers from forums and from Reddit. And even Reddit is like, oh gosh, I have to go to Reddit.
Take it with a grain of salt.
A bunch of people who pretend they know what they're talking about, you know? But it's just like, oh man, what happened to like getting my information, you know? And of course, Google like used to have this thing that explicitly let you search discussion things like forums and stuff like that. But I think they removed it because it got too easy to like pirate software in movies and TV shows when you did that. Because heavens forbid you link people to other real people. They might do things you don't like, you know?
Yep.
You can't control them.
It's a victim of
weird,
its own success, Niko.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's, yeah. And, you know, I mean,
they need like a filter that like judges how much humanism is like actually in something.
This article was written, oh, don't worry, that's coming. This article was written 65% by humans.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, dude. Articles not from Concentrate.
I just need computers not to repeat the same thing 5 times in a row with different phrasing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
I don't know. I like cats and dogs are pretty resilient. I'll tell you that much. As a fellow human who can answer a human question, I will say dogs and cats are pretty resilient. You know, like they get in fights and they have pretty things that would not be easily fixable by the body on human beings. A lot of time cats and dogs will be totally fine.
I just don't want the blood and pus to be a thing for the next month like it was last time she got in a fight.
Well, how many
very well could be.
Have you talked to her vet about how many lives she has left?
You know, that's a good question. She's probably down to like 6.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you might want to go see a tarot card reader about that one.
Yeah.
Tarot card?
Like parrots.
Isn't that
Tarot
a tarot?
card.
You know, a tarot reader. You know what I'm talking about.
Tarot.
A psychic.
They added an extra T on there to trick people.
A tarot card. Whatever. You know who I'm talking about. Go see one of those people.
Yeah.
Like a tarot on the end of the stick.
They'll help you out. They'll tell you how many lives she has left.
Sam, you've said all right twice, like you are about to broach a
AI.
really important subject here.
All right, bring it up, Sam.
No, I'm not.
You're like, all right.
Settle down, AI.
No, I'm just you know, I'm over here listening to you guys complain about AI again.
We do that a lot on this podcast.
Well,
I know. I'm trying to change that.
What's better, AI that gives you accurate information, but it's just hidden in a bunch of BS, or Reddit, which gives you a lot of probably both?
Yeah,
I'd much rather watch people problem solve it and not come to a conclusion in a thread. You know what I'm saying? Like, because even still, then you learn a bunch of other things. It's like, here's a bunch of other solutions, and you're like, oh, sweet.
Dude,
I'll save that for later.
Everyone's opinions on Reddit are so dang well presented, though. I think Freddie said it best. I think it was Freddie. It might have been you, Niko, but he was like, Reddit's like, it's like the rap battle of the world.
Right.
Like everyone's just like trying to just like put down their fedora like in the most elegant way possible. Like,
yeah. I realized like, I mean, this weird how like the upvote downvote thing has like affected like, you know, groupthink on that website. And I've really realized it's a narrative website, right? It's not about facts. It's not about news. It's not about stories. It's about the narratives. And you upvote the narratives you want, and you downvote the narratives you don't want, and you all just live in the pretend reality that, you know, your words have described on the forum.
Whatever,
it's separate from real life, you know.
Yeah.
So totally. Yeah, it's tough. It's too bad. Like, it's too bad there's not a slightly whatever. I'm dumping on Reddit here, but whatever. I mean, hey, I go to the website all the time too, but like, see what there's not like a slightly more mature and like curated version of Reddit, I guess, or like something that just has a little more emphasis on like, I don't know how you do it.
no.
You don't.
I think the problem is
can't.
that there's not a slightly more mature and curated version of humanity.
You're right.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Do you think
I guess I'll
AI will
subscribe to
do
the
that
New York
stuff?
Times or something?
Do you think AI is gonna have arguments when we make the first AI for AI?
Probably.
Yeah.
Definitely argue all the time.
Damn,
I mean,
dude.
man, I wonder how much of Reddit is just AI bots doing their thing. I mean, I'm sure it's a good chunk of it. I'm almost certain that like half the channels that like consistently get posted on like big subreddits are just bot farmed. Like
Why?
back in the day when like Binging with Babish first came out, I kind of feel like this is wild accusations. All right, so guess what, guys? It probably isn't true, but I'm gonna say it anyways. It was always upvoted to the top of videos. I'm like, why is a cooking show hitting the top of videos every time? Like, I don't see a huge crowd here that loves it. Like, they're good videos, but like they're just cooking videos, right? Like they're well presented. And I kind of feel like he was playing the Reddit game and like, getting those videos upvoted into the top of the videos page. And that's how he built his following that first year. And I see the same thing happening on like GIF recipes. Like there's another guy that's like, his recipes are always hitting the front page anytime they go up there. I'm like, it feels iffy to me. Like Captain Disillusion's like the only guy who constantly gets Reddit from like organic upvotes. Because they just everybody just
Should
likes the
I
character so
Google
much.
top 10 reasons why Reddit is bot farmed and see what happens?
I mean, why don't we ask an AI?
The bots aren't going to out themselves, Jake.
They
The first rule
might,
of being a
dude.
bot
We
is
might
that-
catch him in the act.
No, they're all like freaking the guys from Blade Runner, or it's like they pretend to be human and you have to do like a really like deep, intense
Right.
like scan
Right.
process.
Let me
if they're
see.
self-aware.
I might dig up something here. I might catch one of them one day.
I mean,
casual Googling.
Sam, have you we were talking about bots for your AI influencer. Have you looked into it? Like getting
I haven't
bots?
looked into it now because it's gonna get stuff banned, man.
Like, how do you get an army of robots? Do you have to go to like the freaking
you just
Star
go to the
Wars
dark web,
clonery
man.
and-
Just go to the dark web. That's
the
what
dark
I do.
web, of course.
Or I would just maybe openly on Twitter be like, who knows how to get bots?
You probably don't even
Do
need
it
to
on
do
the
dark
core
web or
digital
Twitter.
Twitter.
You just let everybody
Ask
know, like,
people.
hey, I'm gonna be launching this freaking AI thing. Let's manipulate the system. Everybody, it'd be funny. And
Hey,
then, like,
everyone share this, or
Yeah.
everyone interact with it.
that reminds me of like way back in the day. Like this is probably like 2013 or something like that, maybe 2012. And there's the so Ivy, my wife, likes to make greeting cards as a hobby, and this one site that she has her cards for sale on held like a contest where it's like, all right, so you need, you head over to Facebook, you have to like our page and then vote for who you want to win. And just they picked like 6 finalists, and my wife happened to be one of them, and the winner gets an iPad. So I go on Twitter, I'm like, hey everybody, this is on the Corridor account, by the way. Like, hey everybody, my wife has a chance to win a free iPad if y'all help out, just vote for her. I usually wouldn't do this, but I figured why not tonight.
You did this, Niko? This
So, sure
this
enough,
is a
like
faux
within
pas.
within a couple hours, she blows the competition out of the water with votes, thanks to everybody who supported her. And then that was that.
How's that?
And then, so the company, like they hit us up, or they hit me up, and they're like, technically she won, but we really don't approve of the way you did this. I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you even holding a contest? You want people to go to your Facebook page to follow it and then vote. And that's what every single person had to do. You just got, like, you're doing this for publicity, and you just got thousands of eyeballs. You just got all the publicity you wanted. Now you're telling me, like, well, that was too much publicity. we don't want your publicity if you're gonna win.
That's funny.
Either way, she got the iPad. Here's a little iPad Air. It's worth like $200.
I don't know, man. That's a strange moral ground to be on. It is.
It was such a
Because
tiny.
you're
like,
right
prize.
in the sense of like that they do just want eyeballs, and that's exactly why they're doing that.
Yeah, you have to go to the page, you have to like it, so then you can vote in the thing. Like, you had to go through all those steps, and they want, it's like share with you. They literally say share with your friends and family. I consider all of our audience my friends and family.
Wow.
Well, that's crazy, man.
So what? I have a lot of friends.
But that's stretching it outside of the reasonable person expectation, Niko. Not
think
everyone can
that's,
be like, well, my friends and family are however many people are following us on Twitter.
Well, someone's like, oh, I have a big family and I'm going to get them all to do it. And someone's like, that's not fair. This is far larger
That's
than the
not fair.
average family.
I'm not Catholic. That's not fair.
Yeah, this is way bigger than the average family. I only have 2 siblings and you have 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ban them.
Right.
How big?
Yeah.
can families get?
Only for families with less than 8 children.
Yeah.
All right.
Look,
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm never the guy to like use our Corridor accounts to
That was a
like
different
somehow
time.
win a competition. I had to do it once. I just had to do it once.
But that was like so long ago too.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's 2012.
You're like that's you got forgiven like 2 years ago on that probably.
It took a long time still.
Didn't you say something like this when we were filming Son of a Dungeon? Were you like, well, listen, you guys all decided to kill or steal or whatever it was. The rest of the party had done something bad.
Oh yeah, it was
and
killing.
Niko was like, well, I just wanted to try it because everybody else had done it.
Yeah, you guys are like killing all these people. Like, I jump into the fray and like hit a guy with my sword. I don't think I even killed him. I just hit him. He goes like, whoa, Niko.
No, because we were
how
just
dare
talking about
you?
like
I'm
alignments, and Nico's like, I'm good, or like and then you Jake's like, I'm neutral, and he's like, I'm evil, and we're like, what? Wait, you're evil? You've been evil this whole time? You've been like the nicest, like the most caring character so far.
You guys like helping the orphans. And,
Yeah,
we
like,
all had
orphans
like
and stuff.
opposite alignments to what we thought we had.
Yeah, no, but then the other thing too is like, we're talking about like killing people. It's like, wait, if you're good, you're not just gonna kill like random people. And then he goes like, well, I did kill that one guy, just because everyone was killing.
to see how it
And so
feels.
like I figured, why not just kill like one
He
one
shot a man
person?
in Reno just to watch him die.
yeah.
But
I'm
he's
still
a bad
good.
guy.
He's still a good
I thought
guy.
he was a bad guy. You guys were all fighting him. I figured you had a good reason.
Yeah.
You
That's
guys were just having an
funny.
evil
Yeah.
party.
That's
So
a
what
joke.
other kind of?
That's not funny.
what other
This is
kind
not
of-
a joke. You were killing people. This
Imaginary
is not, This is
people.
not funny.
Not at all.
Not funny.
It did turn into quite a debate in the actual filming session.
That was
Hopefully
my favorite.
Some of that can.
That was my
hopefully some of
favorite.
that
I was
lived.
like rolling the whole time. You guys were arguing about like what someone's alignment could and couldn't do, and
Yeah.
that was so good.
It's funny because before we started this podcast, I was thinking about starting it off with the question of whether the world is just chaos in its entirety, and what does that mean?
Jake, are you a freaking AI influencer, man? This is exactly what the AI influencer says.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is AI just another human attempt to
Wait, are we in a quarter
bring
video
order
about
to
AI
some of
right
that
now?
chaos?
Yep.
Dude, we're just eyes, man.
Yeah.
No A's.
No A's.
It's true, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna try my
damn.
best impression of Sam's AI influencer. Hey guys, I was thinking about the world. I was thinking about chaos and how everything's just crazy. Is it just us, or is there a purpose to it all? I don't know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And then pop music plays. Dun,
Cut to
dun,
dancing.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
10 reasons why the world is chaos.
Hey man, a lot deeper
That's
than
pretty good.
many influencers, though. I gotta say, I just wonder if this AI bot will
Like-
start like trying to fight people.
I was
and,
just
like,
thinking today about
sell crypto.
how many problems there are in the world. Do you think we'll ever solve them? What problem in the world would you like to solve?
You're gonna get great engagement on that one. Dude.
I really hope that like it this is obviously going to have to be coincidental or serendipitous, but I'm really hoping that there's a moment where this thing is posting and it just hits the right tone on a post or something at the right time where it's like more right about something than anybody else. I'm just hoping that happens once.
We're approaching a monkey and typewriter situation.
Yeah, I mean, I could spice it up, but like I can just say, hey, weigh in on this.
You know,
It's like
With too much
Will
power,
Smith
Sam.
just
No,
slapped
it's-
Chris Rock. What do you think?
oh, that's a good
What do
idea.
you think?
Yeah. You know, the thing is too, like, so Sam's, this is running GPT-3, right? So you're prompting it, you're putting down formats, you're putting down words, and you can do things with GPT-3, like you can add the words, and it's extra good, and then like the GPT-3 will like make an extra good version of your story, or it's like, and this story is very emotional and won many awards, and then it just writes an even better story that would win awards. It's a weird way to like shape the AI that you can like put those things in. I know when people were making pictures, AI generated pictures, and they wanted the pictures to like look extra good, they just put Unreal Engine 5 afterwards. So it made the picture look like an Unreal
That's
Engine
like something
render.
a baby would say.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine
You'd be
5
like,
afterwards.
No,
it's real
Temple
though.
on Mars, Unreal Engine 5. So it gives you like the Temple on Mars, but it makes it with good graphics.
I mean, jeez.
It
Yeah.
must have just had like a blanket node for like what it thought that program to give you.
Well, it's just because like, there's so many pictures of like cool CGI like associated with Unreal Engine. You know, it's just it's a look. If I say Unreal Engine, you can see the graphics in your head.
Right.
Well, you know, only if you're a giant geek, maybe like us. But yeah, still. Yeah.
It's crazy how like it just simplifies everything. All of our human concepts, it just turns into quick buzzwords.
Well, it's like the Google search
honestly
version of it all, where it's like, what are people searching for, and what do they expect to find?
And how are they searching for it? Do they write whole questions like Niko, or 2 letters like me?
2 letters.
Yeah.
W.
I mean,
as far
bro,
as
don't type
Dude,
W.
from your crash.
Don't do it.
From your crashes, and you type W.
You know, it is.
Hey, I can't find anything.
You type
And Google's like,
W and
what's
it's-
wrong with Premiere?
It's not far away from being able to do that, man. I mean,
Especially you Google like 1 or 2 things, and it goes like, you're trying to dig deeper.
I know you.
And it knows that you're gonna like dig deeper on a subject, and it like auto completes properly.
Have you
It's like,
noticed?
wow.
Have you noticed phones do this when you're talking about a subject and then you go to Google it on
totally.
your phone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Phones don't listen
I'm
to
not-
you.
I'm
Yeah,
not
Jake,
being a
we're-
conspiracy theorist. This is just the way that it is. Like, if you're talking about something and then you Google it from your phone.
Yeah, just those data points, man. It's got those data points, and you so dialed in. All of us are just.
I don't know,
predictions.
because it'll do it with like random topics.
That's
Like,
the thing, it's like everybody has this conspiracy. Like not everybody, but I've heard the conspiracy theory that your phone's always listening to you, or like I'm just having a conversation and then I picked up my phone and had an ad for the thing I was talking about. But the thing is, that's more or less impossible because your battery would drain so fast if your phone was always listening to you.
no, I
know?
understand that side of it. I understand the actual hardware logistical limitations of how we apply that. I'm just saying this happens fairly regularly,
Mhm.
and people have done different videos where they've sort of tested this over time, and they've tried to make sure like the data set that they use is like clean of previous influence.
Mm-hmm.
And it does tend to there is some tendency that it shows a pattern where it's like specific topics will come up first if you've spoken about those in front of the phone.
No,
and so,
no.
No, Niko.
no, dude, I know
Yeah,
you're
what
I know
what
you're
you're
like
saying
hard
is that your
denial.
phone is
You're in hard
running a
denial mode
microphone
about this right now, but
just
like, how much of this have you thought about prior to this conversation
I've
right
researched,
now?
I've
'Cause-
looked into it actually. I've actually researched this one, because basically what you're implying is that your phone is listening to you.
Well, I don't know in the manner, the actual manner in which it's, collecting every word and then sending that through a database, or it's looking for key points that it's heard before, or, key ad points or things like that. I don't know that, but
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing that people are very surprised to learn is just how good statistical prediction is and how much data points these companies have on us. Everything
very well,
from like,
it could be. It
Yeah,
could
but
be like
also-
a statistical data points run through, like a bunch of different sub nodes to like give you a super accurate prediction of what you're Googling. I'm
Well,
not saying that's not possible. And
the thing that
I'm
people-
not trying to
yeah.
propose conspiracy theories either. Like I'm just trying to say what I've seen.
the thing that people like get really surprised about is like, they'll go to a friend's house and their friend will start talking about something and then like the ads will pop up on their phone. But like the thing that gets people by surprise is like when you take like the data points of different people, they're not just looking at yours, they're looking at who's in your house and who comes to visit and when they come to visit. And they're having those data points interact. They're comparing that to the same data points interacting in other places. And they go, okay, what's the most common outcome of these data points interacting? And then it puts those predictions to you. So it's like, it's so complex and deep and evolving. And of course, driven by a lot of AI and machine learning as well and predictive, that like you end up with these like, whoa, how did they know kind of moments, when in reality, it's just very, very good math. Though I will say, like, people talk about like the Alexa's listening to you. And that's something where you can actually you can track the data on your network and see whether or not it's sending data back home. And you can sniff that data and see what's being sent. And in that case, like, they aren't sending data unless you say the trigger word to cause it to start recording. Because there's actually a hardwired in piece of, I guess, like firmware, hardware, I don't know, in the like your Alexa that turns it on to start recording. That's why you can only give it a couple certain names. You can't just give it any name. Is because it's hardwired in to only start recording when it hears one of those 5 different sounds. Of course, once it starts recording, then it's fair game. You know?
So just caveat on that.
Yeah.
There is both on Amazon Alexa and the other home assistant AI devices out there, as well as on the phones. Yes, trigger words. That's the basic function of the technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's to say that it can't just also say, oh, and also there's these other trigger words,
So,
that we don't tell you about.
Well, that's because there's 2 different like levels here. Like, because all the voice processing, like when you're talking to your phone or to Alexa or to Google, that's being sent across the network over to their servers, and that's run through an AI that then parses the words. But that first bit, when you start talking to it, that doesn't have time to go to the server and come back. So that has to be hardwired in.
Yeah.
And you can, people have literally popped them open and gone through the hardware to see what triggers it and when it starts recording and how like the network data changes and, which things can trigger it. So I don't think there's like secret words that could trigger it, because then immediately you have a spike in your network traffic and your ports open up and stuff starts flowing. So you would see it happen, I guess, if you're.
But it is always listening for trigger words.
It is always listening for trigger words,
and so is your phone, though.
But that's not being sent over network. That's not being recorded.
I understand that, but
so it's a local hardware thing versus a connected hardware thing.
Yes, but in order for it to go, hey, if you say, "Hey Siri," and it's like it is always listening for that word.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
one eye open.
There is a little bit of,
but that information doesn't leave the phone.
Well, we don't know what information they're actually sending. Like, I just think that we don't know exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
There could be
like,
other little
how
packets associated with that info when it does send.
Yeah, but it's not.
I just wouldn't assume that they're not.
It's a big conspiracy, but I'm just going to say your Alexas and your Google Homes and your phones, they're not just constantly recording you and saving that and sending it off to.
No, of course they're not constantly doing that. Like, that would be a ridiculous waste of data space for no real
battery.
purpose.
I mean, you could sue their pants off into oblivion and be, set for life. Like,
maybe. Yeah.
Okay,
but I am saying, like, the microphones under the definition that the microphones are always listening for specific trigger devices, they are always listening. And there's a very short removal from that, which is, we know to be true, which is just, and also, they're listening for these trigger words too. And when they hear those, they do X, Y, or Z. Small packets of information, pings across a different, pings to an AI server somewhere. Like, that all could also be happening, and we're just not, like, queued up to it because it's not part of it's not important really in terms of like day-to-day use, consumer use, all those things.
Yeah.
And, given what we know about like how much information is stored.
You're just saying they could be doing it. Niko says they're not doing it.
Well, I'm just look at like the data
not
that they turn over to the NSA and stuff like that. I mean, look at the amount of data that tech companies turn over to like the NSA and other governmental entities.
We give them plenty of data.
Yeah, there's other things.
We give them plenty of data. Like, they don't need to hear us say jet ski to know we want a jet ski.
See,
it's like they'll be like, yo, this dude's like, every time his thumb like hovers over this jet ski picture, it's like it takes an extra half second.
Yeah,
to
I think
scroll
the AI
away.
just assume. Well, you can start with just a basic point that everybody wants a jet ski.
Yeah.
So hit everybody with a jet ski ad just once, just to make sure.
And if people are Googling everything that's not jet ski related, it means they must not have a jet ski.
Right.
Thus
And
they
then
want
Google's
one.
like, hey, he just watched a jet ski video, or there's a video with a jet ski in it, and then he immediately watched another jet ski video. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's actually
you
just
you guys are positively optimistic about it, which is totally reasonable. I'm just saying, like, what you're saying is just as plausible as what I'm saying.
Look, Big Ski-Doo would never.
Big Ski-Doo.
Would never.
Big dude.
It's just you're saying that that's just a series of good math based on other data sets, and I'm just saying, well, it could also be that they're taking little packets and including that in the data set. That's not so crazy to be like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
a conspiracy theory.
You're telling me if I'm around my Alexa home and I'm talking about, I want Prime shipping on a tablet to read a book. And
Your
I say,
Alexa's
Alexa's
triggering
not
that.
listening to that. Your Alexa's not listening to that.
You're saying they're not going to take all that
would be
juicy
severe,
info, just hide it under some data and ship it out.
No.
Smuggle it
How
out.
is that a violation of anything, Nico?
severe
It's a private
violation of-
device that you put into your home.
For
How
it to
is that a
send,
violation?
Did you read all the? Did you read the whole thing? the
No,
whole
you guys are
agreement?
being goofs. No. For a corporation to illegitimately and without permission record in your home and send the data off to corporate headquarters. would
One
be an
question.
extreme
How is it
and severe
illegitimate?
violation of all
How is
the
it
agreements.
illegitimate? How is it a violation?
I
Just
mean, one
simple.
one
Give
of
me
these
simple-
companies.
simple
Look,
terms.
I'm
You
gonna
guys
get
want to
into
pull
this.
the
It's gonna be a
terms of
boring
service right now?
conversation.
Let's go through the terms of service.
But I will just say these companies have come out and said they don't do this multiple times. Like
Yeah, and
publicly and clearly.
So you're gonna take them at their word, given what you know they have done in the past. Come on.
I mean, no.
Look. I'm
There's
just gonna say this.
severe
I've-
violation.
Facebook, like,
No,
they've
hold on, guys,
admitted
guys,
so
I'm just
many
saying-
things that they've denied in the
No,
past.
no,
Come
had
on.
Facebook
Okay,
mom
guys,
stuff, come on.
There's plenty of people far more motivated than us to get to the bottom of this,
And they
All right.
have already.
and we would
Multiple
have
times.
known something has happened by now.
Nico, I just want to point out, you just saying, well, they say they don't.
No,
So that
no,
means
I'm
they
not
must
just-
not. That's
okay, guys,
pretty thin.
literally, this is all speculation until we pull up the terms of service. And read
I've
through
got
the
him in
entire
front of
thing.
me. I've got him in front of me.
no,
What do you
I'm
want to
not.
know?
That's a great worst.
This
Lose
is the
all
worst
you wanna know.
subscribers of this
podcast.
podcast ever. Like we're actively losing. The reason there's a reason you don't read them.
What do you
Don't
wanna know?
unsubscribe. We're gonna stop talking about this. Don't unsubscribe. Please keep watching.
Come on.
All right, so
Come
So,
on.
are we gonna talk about Will Smith or Alex Troy next? What's the
no,
plan?
let's
Oh,
just
great.
dunk on the Will
How
Smith thing's
exciting.
stupid, and it doesn't matter.
Look, I think the Academy lost a lot of respect and they didn't escort out the guest who assaulted their host.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
that was not appropriate,
Yeah.
obviously. But
Well,
obviously,
yeah,
people
but
like,
it's Will Smith.
Whatever.
who gives
Who
a
cares?
shit, and he won a movie for
No,
a
that's
movie,
what I'm
he won for a
saying,
movie no one
though.
saw.
Like, that's the mentality. Is it's like, well, if this is somebody who's named, then all of a sudden it's okay. It's not okay. Look, it's not okay.
Yeah,
We're just not
I'm
gonna.
just saying, whatever
we're just
happened
not
to a-
gonna. If
whatever happened
anybody
to a
else had
dignified
walked
slap?
up to that person,
Whatever happened to
If
pulling
anybody-
your
It's a
glove
pretty
off
good
at a
slap,
tuxedo
though.
party and slapping someone with your glove? Like, come
Listen,
on.
This was
Sam,
a slap that was done with theatrical expertise, I have to say. His posture,
Yeah,
straight
he
back.
slapped like an action scene.
No, it was
Like-
a good slap. I think it was a gentleman's slap for sure.
You think it was a gentleman's slap?
if
Well,
anybody
as far
else
as
had
bitch
walked
slaps
up on
go,
that
yeah,
I gotta
stage
agree.
that
It was definitely a
wasn't
gentleman's
him,
slap.
they would have immediately been sent to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
which is that, and I love all these dum dums on freaking the internet who are saying what we're saying, except bring it to the extremes. You know, they're like, he should have been arrested. He could have killed Chris Rock. And it's like, if anyone
the old
who's
eggshell plaintiff theory.
I've read that from people I personally know. In real life, I've seen people say that on the stupid internet, the stupid old internet, and it is just hilarious. That's like, oh my god, that style of thinking is just so dumb.
Yeah.
It's like
Personally, I
extremes,
was a
man.
little glad to see a little bit of,
A little pep in his
roughness
step.
occur.
You want some action in your Oscars?
I honestly, I appreciate that a little bit. I think people should be a little bit more used to that kind of activity. You insult somebody, especially in that way. Look, you may get slapped, and you got slapped. Well, what can you do? Tell another
Yeah,
joke.
that's assault. That's assault. You
I
should
don't
go to
know.
jail. That's not okay. Words don't incite.
I don't know. It's comedy too.
saying words don't incite violence.
No,
is,
not saying words. Words shouldn't incite violence. Is not an appropriate response to words.
well, guess what? Turns out
that
sometimes
isn't entirely true, Nico.
I
That is
agree.
not
It's not
entirely true.
I agree that it's not entirely true.
Shouldn't be.
And I think that
Shouldn't.
if you
Keyword.
walk up to someone and berate them and they decide to hit you, then that is sometimes a valid response.
Yeah,
I think that's
no.
fine.
Of course, it's going to happen. Like, but no one should be like an appropriate response to words is violence. Like that just blanket should not be.
No, I
Also,
agree. As a
what
blanket
do you
statement.
mean by should? What do you mean by should?
word that violence should not be a response to
Yeah,
words.
Guess what? Here's the
like
thing:
if you
is
go up to a
mental
stranger-
health or not? You know what I'm saying?
If
Is
you go
mental
to a
health
straight-
health or not? People like to argue all this dumb bullshit. It's like, oh, no, mental health is health. That is like such an integral part of your being. Your mental health should be just as important as your physical health. And okay, well, you go take that argument, which does have a lot of validity. And so now someone used words against you. Oh, guess what they're doing? They're harming your mental health. How do you do that? Well, what do you, if you don't have like a even more crazy comeback to zing them with, a slap will do, you know?
Right.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, but
like, come
I mean,
on.
That's how people work. That is how people work.
It's literally
I don't
in our
argue against that.
constitution.
That being said,
freedom
all-
of speech.
look,
like, you
like,
don't
yeah.
get slapped for saying
This
something
whole
by the
thing would have
king.
just been
Like,
so much better if he walks up and slaps him, and then they're like, okay, sir, you come on, you have to get out of here. And then that's the end of that.
Yeah,
and then
there's
everyone's
so
like,
many-
cool, he deserved the slapped, and then he left, and now
There's
we're done.
consequences. Yeah.
There's consequences. Perfect. Bravo. There we go. It's fair on all sides now.
no, it's
Anyways, so stupid.
the whole Oscars is theater, and like the act that we've made a tradition of a comedian razzing people in the audience is
Oh yeah.
it's a planned theatrical event.
Part
Yeah,
of
I'm
the deal.
surprised the Golden Globes haven't turned into a freaking
Dude,
melee.
yeah, people are wearing Kevlar. Like Ricky Gervais is just wearing. A
He's like,
freaking
there's like, please, dear
bodysuit.
God, do not talk about me. And he's like,
He has like security guards now. Yeah,
I know, but
Dude, it's
yeah,
just,
I
it's
don't-
just so I don't know, man. Like, oh, sorry, your ego is so damaged.
I mean, clearly Will Smith's like suffering. Well, I will say this for anybody that has sympathy for Will Smith, cool, because people do deserve second chances. You don't put like when somebody gets convicted of a crime, the idea is not just put them away forever and never see them again. The idea is to rehabilitate them back into society.
Sir,
And it's like,
sir, you can just don't slap this time. And you'll be like, okay.
I have to slap.
and I do wish that was a little bit more in people's approaches to things. It's like people need to have consequences. You do need to have punishments, but it is with the goal of making that person back into a better person, and people forget about that. The vindictiveness can take over and then you're just like, yeah, put them away forever. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, sure. Obviously there's some people who are broken beyond repair and there's some people who are evil beyond all else, and like, there's nothing you can do about that. But obviously the vast majority of people, you can work on rehabbing as your main goal, but regardless,
I personally think a slap is something you can't get charged for. I don't think
that's not
It
true.
was blatantly open-handed. So
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Walking
was-
up and slapping someone.
It's assault. No
that's-
questions
I guess
asked.
assault. I know,
And
but if that's
technically
like one of those,
battery,
like, really, come on.
Yeah.
Is that within the acceptable terms of
If
like
you
interaction?
strike another person, they can call the cops and you can go
But
to jail.
what's a strike? If I
Yeah,
do
but
that, if I
Niko, you
bump-
are
That's not a strike.
there-
Well, but
there
what if
are-
that hurt?
It didn't.
you're by definition that is that
but
is
how do I know?
assault,
How do you
but-
prove what you felt?
well, look. I mean, you could murder someone with a dish sponge and it would still be murder. You wouldn't get any street cred in the cafeteria jail for it. Like the big guy would still come tap you on the shoulder.
If I throw a sponge at someone, is that? I don't know.
That's
Is that
assault, dude.
If
Yes.
you would, if
it's
just
in
thrown-
anger, if
if
it
we
is
would
in
have
anger,
thrown like one
Would
of
you
those
guys
coconut
actually
fried
like the
shrimp
legal
on stage
definition of
from the
assault,
Oscars,
We'll
or
do
like
have a
the
lawyer
legal
in
take
case
on
you want-
this, or
Yeah, why don't
All
you
right,
tell
so
us what
Jake,
assault?
hit him with
What's
the-
that up?
Fine, Mr. Lawyer, tell us
all
what
right. So
assault
what?
is.
So what happened legally? Let's just talk about this actual incident.
Ooh, all
Yes.
right.
Finally, some
So
sense.
first of all, what happened legally is the slap assault. Yes, it is. Assault is the physical or perceived physical harm that's coming at you, right?
Yeah. By the way, is it discouraged for lawyers to say the words when talking about things?
Okay,
To say
go
what?
on.
You know.
You know.
Because we don't.
All right, okay, no,
It's like,
okay.
my client committed,
Okay, stop it. Stop it. Let's. I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
So was that assault? Yeah, it was. It was a battery.
Mhm.
It was assault.
Is battery
and
a subset of assault, or is
No,
that a
assault.
different-
Assault is anything that would create a perceived infliction of physical harm or unwanted personal contact, even if there wasn't actual contact.
So spitting
and-
on somebody would be assault.
Just walking over to someone angrily.
Well,
is
spitting
assault?
on somebody could be. Yeah, it's probably it's definitely assault. It could be battery. Probably not.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. That might be a jurisdictional thing. But battery is when it goes from perceived words or action that doesn't actually touch to then actually contact.
Interesting.
And then that becomes battery. So it's it's classic assault and battery, right? But what you also have to consider is, is it an assault and battery? Yes. Now, was it justified, right? Because it doesn't just cut one way. Like if you say, did you murder somebody? Okay. Did you intentionally take the life of another person, right? With wanton desire to take that person's life. The next question then becomes, well, yes, did you commit murder? Okay, yes, but were you justified in the murder? Was somebody trying to murder you? Did something else happen to you? Was there some other thing? Would somebody put a gun to your head? Like, what are there other circumstances that might be mitigating to the murder itself? You can do the same thing with assault and battery. You can say, was it assault and battery? Yes. Were there mitigating circumstances? Also, yes. You know, like if you walk up to somebody on the street, you don't know them, and you just start insulting them, right? Not only is that assault, depending on how close you are and the particulars of your action, but also if that person strikes you because you're in their face, they don't know what's happening, you're insulting them, you know, and they're like, and that's not, they're not gonna. You're not going to get away with saying, oh, well, now I'm going to prosecute them for battery because your actions provoked the battery. Yeah. And that would be considered totally okay. So we're talking about a slightly minor version of this here. Now you have to consider, the fact that public figure, awards show, no expectation of privacy, both like being filmed and people insulting you like for comedic purposes, like that's considered totally fair game in an environment like that. So that has to be considered. And then you have to, and then it's like, well, it wasn't insulting me, it was insulting my wife, and da 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 da. And it's like, well, now, man, maybe you took it too far there, buddy, you know? But again, you have to consider both of those things as being partaking in that thing. And then you can come to like an accurate, if he was to be actually prosecuted, then you could come to an accurate assessment of like what the punishment would be. It'd be most likely, you're guilty of assault, but here's a very light sentence, slap on the wrist, fine type of thing. This is for like somebody who's, again, not going to be seen as Will Smith, you know, da 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 da. But again, this is the fundamental problem in the sense that we apply different rules to somebody like that versus the rules that we apply to just an individual. And even though that's not the way that things are supposed to be set up. Yeah. So
I will say Chris Rock is definitely a pro, and he handled that so well. So much better than anybody else could have probably.
Right.
Just like smooth, like sailed right through, got his bearing, didn't dig in. You listen, like you can see him like, he's like, oh yeah, it was just a joke. What I could have, and he just barely starts like another
Really? Oh wow!
And then he stops himself. And he's like, joke. All right. Anyways, on to our next thing.
It's funny. Yeah. Well, I guess it does kind of come it validates my point, which is slaps being a valid course of action in a lot of situations. Because I mean, I'm not talking about slapping a random person.
I didn't say that that doesn't mean that slapping is just somehow justified in every circumstance.
So basically, no, I'm just saying like I'm only talking about in a situation where I want to slap someone, not unjustly. I'm just saying, hey, someone comes up and tease you, and you're like, slap.
That doesn't like, okay. It's so circumstantial though, Sam. And
someone's like, don't park in my parking spot. Or no, don't park. And then they probably said something else that warranted it.
Yeah, they have to insult your mother first.
Yes, they say you are stupid and smell bad, and I'm like,
2 strikes, you're out.
I was like, all right.
Well, I don't know, man. It was just, it was one of the most entertaining things to happen on television for a long time. So I guess thanks, Will Smith. But
so we got that going for us.
Yeah. And by the time this podcast comes out, it's gonna be such old news.
So news.
Yeah, people are already tired of talk about this old news for like 20 minutes.
Dude, everyone memed on it so hard for 24 hours, and that was it.
Yeah,
that's how we process things as a society now. We just meme it, all of our traumas, and that's how we get over them. I don't know. I just feel bad for any comedian now who has to get up and insult people. So.
That's true, because just like who was the Roman like commander that marched his troops? Was it Caesar that marched his troops into
Rome?
Yeah, into Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like the holy rules that you never walk your troops into the city.
Not
and
supposed to do that.
He's the first one to break it, and then of course once he does it, everybody starts breaking the rule.
Yeah.
Is that now what's happened with hecklers and comedians on stage? Now that Will Smith broke the rule, everybody's like,
Dude,
whatever.
It becomes like hockey rules.
Caesar broke multiple rules though, so
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think there's a point.
Hockey rules.
That's a really interesting concept. Like the concept of precedent and like the inability of people to understand that just because someone does something doesn't mean now it's suddenly okay to do it.
Yeah.
That is kind of interesting.
Well, clearly it's okay to do it. Like all he had to do is post an apology on his Instagram.
He did.
I mean, that's not that bad.
It wasn't even verbal.
Yeah, but
screenshot it.
The amount of people reading the
name.
apology versus seeing that's kind of weird. I mean, I hope more comedians don't get slapped, but whatever. It's already like they're already dealing with so much other crap.
I mean, maybe that's like where comedy's going. It's more of like a fight kind of thing.
It's slapstick. That's where
we're going back to slapstick.
Punchline slapstick.
Yeah.
Comedians will they'll build little forts before the stage, before the show opens.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, can you get past my
tripwires?
I'm gonna keep roasting you. You try and hit me
for comedy.
It's like a cage comedy.
Yeah.
Well, there's already a form of this.
Can I crumble your willpower and mental state before you can crumble my physical state?
There is a form of this style of comedy though that goes back to like the Middle Ages and is also manifested in like county fairs when people like are in the dunk tanks.
Oh, dude, they do that at the Ren Fair. And they roast you at the Ren Fair. You walk up and then they're like, you look like shit. Your costume sucks. Yeah.
And then they dunk you?
But in the Middle Ages, they used to put people in the, what are those called? The locks where you lock your head and arms.
The stocks.
Yeah. And the people used to sit in there and insult people. And you could
yeah,
you could
buy old fruit.
That was the punishment.
Vegetables.
It was you get to be insulted by the whole town and you're at their mercy for an hour.
But part of the game is like you can insult back.
Dude, just Lord of the Stocks, like you're just making people cry in the stocks. You're like, challenge accepted.
Man.
Yeah, it's hard to make jokes when you have tomatoes hitting your face, though. So
yeah, I don't know, man. You really gotta be tenacious to do it. But I'm sure people have done it.
We should, yeah. It's really interesting. We should explore this.
Let's go and try it. Let's go and try it in a public park.
Hey, you.
Hey. Bleep. You're just in a box fort that's like 20 feet tall. I dare you.
Oh, man.
Well, Shift wasn't nominated this year, so
no, it's
I wasn't
coming.
Gonna watch.
It's coming. It's gonna catch.
Yeah.
We'll put out Shift 2, and we'll just keep remaking it until it catches.
What's Shift?
It's the movie with Tom Cruise where he loses 100 pounds.
Yeah. He plays a mechanic who needs to reconnect with his daughter.
It's an indie financed piece by somebody who has a parent who was an actor.
Oh, we should get Apple to fund it.
Yeah, and then we got our buddies together. They know how to
work the Oscars.
Yeah, and we got Tom Cruise in it. Tom Cruise is actually the lead. He's a mechanic who has a struggling marriage and is on the rocks with his daughter, his teenage daughter, and he lost 90 pounds for the role. That's the buzz point. That everyone talks about
pounds. He weighs like
it's
something like 70 or 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And it all ends with the finale of him walking away, his daughter walking away from him saying, "You can't tell me how to live my life."
Mm-hmm. And it ends.
Shift a reference to his job as a mechanic, but also his shift on his life perspective.
No,
is it basically just like calling? So it's kind of like calling a movie like Arc.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like character.
Yeah. Totally. That
There's like
sense.
2 more layers to it too that you have to watch the film. But, yeah, last time we actually asked for everyone who saw it to leave reviews in the comments. So hopefully we see some good reviews in the comments of this video.
Yeah, we'll send out screeners.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first movie I actually worked on, so I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Tom Cruise is just a little guy.
I don't know if we were saltier in this podcast or in that podcast, but
no, man. Yeah, it was so long.
What were you guys salty about?
I don't know.
We were salty about Oscar nominees.
We're talking about Oscar noms and stuff.
We were dunking on Manchester by the Sea.
We're just saying how
and people got angry at us. Oh shit! I said we wouldn't do that anymore.
You said it, dude. You said the words.
I missed the Manchester by the Sea dunk fest. Oh no!
You said the fighting words, man.
Well, I'm just I mean, it stemmed mostly from me being angry that Last Duel got no Oscar nominations, despite being the best movie of last year. I mean, next to Spider-Man, which also
yeah, Spider-Man deserved a Best Picture. Let's be real.
Yeah, come on. I mean, it was pretty cool. There's 3 Spider-Mans.
Next year, I guess I'll have to go for 4.
Yeah, next year they'll try a 4.
They will too.
Have a CG Miles Morales.
You guys going to see Morbius Friday?
How many Spider-Mans are in that one?
I don't know. I guess it's a Spider-Man movie. The director spoiled it or something on Twitter.
Venom's in it or something like that. Oh shit! Sorry, everybody.
It's okay. No one's gonna
I haven't seen it yet. I'm just guessing. Maybe.
So
I refuse to watch any movies with Jared Leto in it now.
Yeah, Jared Leto's a tool.
He's just a stupid tool. He ruined Blade Runner.
Oh,
I was like, wow, they remade this movie. It's so perfect.
This
then he shows up and I'm like,
exactly what I'm talking about. This is what happened. But it's
like,
also how he came up with Shift.
Anyways,
he does act like he's watching himself on the monitor act. Like there's certain
I've
actors
never heard it described that way before. That's exactly.
Dude, but you know, there's some actors who you can't get them out of that. Like there's some actors who are just so natural, but then there's actors who are always watching themselves and they're just imagining how this is gonna look.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can't act if you're doing that.
No.
If you're just like, oh, I'm gonna look sick when I do this, and then
you're describing my acting method,
bro.
I gotta work on it.
Well, you're not pulling it off because you're acting pretty good. So.
Aw, thank you.
No, but honestly, that's what Jared Leto. Yeah. To sum it all up, to sum up the dunk.
Here we could. So one more thing to end this podcast on, not related to the freaking Oscars or Jared Leto or something.
Okay, good.
Okay, fine.
So we did a video with an AI thing for our voices called the AI thing was called altered.ai, and basically you can speak and then just like how a deep fake can put another person's face on your face, this basically puts another voice on your voice. So it's the same words, the same cadence, but you can take a different voice model and put on your voice. There's another company that does this called Respeecher. It's very similar technology to Alter.ai. And Respeecher is the ones that did the voice for Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. And I actually reached out to them as we were doing this AI stuff like a few weeks ago to talk to them about, the idea of using their software. And what I didn't know is that they're based in Ukraine.
Wow.
So,
holy.
Just straight up like having a, morning video call. And they're like, yeah, we're in the western part of the country. And it's just like, wow. And like suddenly it feels so much closer, like when you're doing that. But they're doing something kind of interesting, because there's like, we get all these emails from people saying like, you should deep fake Putin into like telling the troops to retreat or something like that, which is just, it's weird to get those emails. But it's like, well, how can you use machine learning like for some of this, like for a good cause kind of thing?
Good,
so Respeecher is actually doing something kind of interesting. And anybody listening to this podcast happens to have like a decent sized following and you're interested in participating in this, maybe leave a comment down below or hit me up and I'll figure out a way to get in touch with you. But basically what they're doing is they're asking like influencers and celebrities and stuff if they're interested in recording like a message of support for the Ukrainian people. And then they take that person's voice and they train it so they can have that person speak Ukrainian with their own voice.
Whoa.
Which is crazy. So like, you can basically say like, you guys, keep it up. I know time's tough. You have our support, whatever. It's like, you can say whatever you want. It's like, it's a message for the people, right? And then they'll train your voice and then they will basically puppet your voice by speaking Ukrainian, then have it be in your voice tone. So it's now you can make a video for, the Ukrainian people, but you're speaking their language, but it's still your voice. It's really cool. It's a really interesting thing that they're doing. Yeah. And if anybody listening to this podcast is interested in participating in that, assuming sorry, not to like just rule everybody out, but it takes time for them to make these models. So if you have a following and you're interested in this, reach out to me, leave a comment, whatever. I'll really find you. Yeah.
We're like so close to having actual devices where you just talk into it.
I know.
And it says any language in your voice.
Yeah. Well, they exist. They just don't mimic your actual voice yet.
Yeah. And now we're getting to where it can mimic your voice.
But like imagine,
That's gonna be
you
pretty
can
sweet.
you buy one and then you spend like it's like the setup is like 20 minutes to just record some audio so we can replicate your voice, and it's just like then you're good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Go for it.
Yeah, just
That'll be incredibly useful
Yeah.
for well, it won't even be dubbing. Dubbing's the wrong word. Dubbing is the verb now for it. But dubbing our videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can add a little like Sorry, my brain's like super excited because I just want to travel the world and speak all the languages now.
That would be cool. And you have the little earpiece that translates everybody into English.
And you have a little speaker in your mouth, so you just open your mouth and it talks for you.
Yeah.
Excuse me 1 second.
All right. I gotta wrap this up, y'all.
All right.
It's been good.
That's it.
All right. So what did we learn? We learned no hitting just because somebody made maybe a distasteful joke or a joke you thought was distasteful. Don't be hitting children. Okay.
Unless it's really personal.
Not nice.
Don't be hitting.
And then still you might get in trouble still, so just be advised.
Just remember you might get in trouble.
Yeah. And so it's a risk. Taking a risk. Second thing. Oh, and also if you're gonna insult somebody deeply, you're taking a risk too.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
exactly.
true. You are taking a risk.
Exactly.
Regardless of what should and shouldn't happen, doesn't mean it won't happen.
You don't say.
It's like being a pedestrian and having the right of
yeah.
way. It's like pedestrians do have the right of way. Cars are still heavier.
Right. Don't think that just because somebody's not supposed to hit you that they won't. And then what else did we learn about AI influencers, Sam? We learned that Sierra
check out that
Vega
account.
is going to be
Sierra
live.
_Vega. Yeah, go check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, go check it out.
And and
Sierra
also
Vega.
if you want to do the voice translation thing like Niko was talking about, and you got
Leave
a
a comment
following,
or
that
shoot me an
would
email
be,
or
that would
hit me
be
up
really
on
cool.
Instagram or something. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do it.
And Nick is already working on the script for Shift 2.
Yeah.
Shift.
Oh yeah, an Iron Artist or Iron Chef, VFX Iron Chef.
Check out VFX.
yeah,
We
Iron
haven't seen
Chef.
it.
That's so
It's
it's
live.
so good. It's
So
so
good.
good.
It's
You're gonna
live
cry
right
laughing.
now.
Yeah, let us know if you want us to do more of those videos.
Yeah.
Because I think we got a format.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks
Bye,
for
everybody.
watching.
All right, everybody.
Hot ejection.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
It's been good.
It's been a good time.
Alrighty.